We're going to talk about the differences between various auditions. Okay, so each type of audition you may do will have different criteria and requirements and outcomes. So it's really important to know how they differ. Now, the thing is that you may actually be auditioning for several different types of auditions. So, for instance, if you are an opera singer that wants to perform on the stage in operas, obviously you're auditioning for that, but maybe you need to make a little extra money, so you want to join a professional chorus. And so understanding the difference between an opera audition and a choral audition is very, very important. So I'm going to go through all of the different types of auditions that this course covers to give you a little bit of ideas of how they differ in the expectations. So I'm going to start with opera. So when you audition as an opera singer, there are really basically two types of auditions. Actually, there are three types of auditions. You will either audition for a main stage role, meaning that you are actually auditioning for a singular company that is looking to cast a particular role, either leading or supporting, and so then you will be singing in hopes that you will get that role. You may also, if you are at the beginning of your career, you may also be auditioning for young artist programs. And when you audition for young artist programs, that means that you may be auditioning for roles that they do in that program, or if that program doesn't actually do full operas, you may just be auditioning to be heard for workshops and opera scenes and concerts and part of the ensemble, okay, as the training program. Or you may also be auditioning for agents at some point. And so basically all of these auditions have generally the same kind of criteria. Number one, as far as repertoire is concerned, for all of these auditions, you really have to have about 4 to 5 different arias, full arias, that are in various languages and styles. Now, if you're auditioning for young artist programs at the beginning of your career, you're going to be required, most likely, to sing arias in every language. So you'll need to sing an English aria, an Italian aria, German aria, and a French aria. But as you get older and you start to really grow into your voice more, and you're singing for agents and also for main stage auditions, you don't necessarily have to have arias in every single language, okay? Your voice may be perfect for Italian repertoire, but there's not really anything in the German repertoire that fits your voice. And so, therefore, you may put maybe 3 Italian arias, a French aria, and an English aria on your list and not have any German. And that's okay if you are at that stage in your career, okay? But just understanding that you just have to have basically an aria package that has 4 to 5 full arias. Generally, in an opera audition, what you're going to do is you're going to sing one full aria, usually 99% of the time, of your choice, and then a second aria, or maybe even a third aria, may be chosen from your list by the adjudicators, okay? Maybe not, but I have to say that most opera auditions that I have done or attended or was adjudicating, we always basically heard at least two arias, okay? If you are auditioning for a particular role, like you are there singing for, you know that they're casting for Donna Anna in their upcoming production of Don Giovanni, or they're casting for Sarastro in their upcoming production of The Magic Flute, then you really should have the main aria that that character does on your list. And if that isn't possible, because maybe the audition was very, it was a last-minute audition, and you don't normally sing that work, try to find an aria that most closely resembles the style of the aria of the role that you are being considered for, okay? In opera auditions, there may or may not be callbacks, okay? Some opera companies, like if they're doing young artist programs, some of them do have callbacks. There are many main stage opera companies that do not have callbacks. So be prepared for one if they're there, and be prepared for none if they don't have them, okay? So that's opera auditions. Musical theater auditions are quite different than opera auditions, okay? Whereas in opera auditions, you have to have 4 to 5 full arias prepared. In musical theater auditions, you generally have to have 2 or 3 cuts of songs. And when I say cuts, I mean that a 16-bar cut or a 32-bar cut. But you also need to be prepared for the rare occasion that some shows might ask you for only 8 bars, okay? But in general, they have to be those short cuts that are in the style of the show or character that you are singing for, okay? So the thing is that what's different about musical theater and opera is, in general, musical theater people do not necessarily like to hear a cut from the show that they are actually doing in the initial audition, okay? They want you to show that you've got the goods to play the role that you are being considered for, but that they can still sort of mold you in the way that they want to see you, okay? So if you are auditioning for Eponine in Les Mis, you know, don't necessarily walk in going and singing On My Own, all right? They don't necessarily want to hear that, but try to choose a song that is similar to that, similar to the emotional journey and the musical journey, that will show them that, yeah, absolutely, you could play Eponine. If they want to hear On My Own, then they'll ask for it, okay? Now, in the initial audition, you're generally only going to sing 1 cut, okay? So you're going to go in, you're going to sing 16 bars, and then you're going to leave the room, all right? And then, most likely, there will be a callback. Now, callbacks for musical theater auditions can be several things. It can be a dance callback, so that they want to see if you can move, if you can dance, whatever. There might be a reading callback, so that they want you to actually read something from the show. Or they might ask you to sing again, something from the show or something completely different, all right? But you should be prepared to do a callback audition. And ultimately, what you need to have prepared in your repertoire is you need to have a ballad and an up-tempo from classic musicals, meaning pre-1965. And then you want to have a ballad and an up-tempo from a contemporary musical, okay? So that there are 4 cuts there. And then in addition to that, you want to have at least 1, but you should probably have 2 or 3 in your arsenal, of a pop rock cut, okay? Because there are lots of new musicals that require pop and rock singers, all right? So you need to have that prepared, okay? So that's what a musical theater audition entails, okay?